Have you ever wondered what happens when a lawyer's ego gets too big for the courtroom? When a brilliant legal mind, used to winning at all costs, finally goes too far? Today we're diving into a story that feels like it's straight out of a Hollywood movie, but it's a chillingly real cautionary tale. This is the story of how one of the most successful lying lawyers in the country lost everything, quite literally, overnight. Imagine this: a lawyer at the absolute peak of their career. Call him Alex. Alex was a legal titan, famous for his razor-sharp intellect, his theatrical courtroom performances, and an undefeated record that made him the stuff of legends. Corporations paid him millions, and opponents trembled at the mention of his name. He lived in a sprawling mansion, drove the flashiest cars, and his life was a testament to his success. But beneath the polished veneer of victory, there was a fatal flaw, an ego as vast as his fortune. Alex believed he was untouchable, that the rules didn't apply to him. He saw every case not as a pursuit of justice, but as a personal battleground, a stage for him to prove his superiority. His colleagues warned him, judges admonished him for his borderline tactics, but Alex just laughed it off. Winning was all that mattered, and he was the best at it. This unshakable belief in his own invincibility was the very thing that would orchestrate his spectacular downfall. The case that broke him seemed at first like just another notch on his belt. It was a high-stakes corporate dispute involving two tech giants. The evidence was complex, the money involved was astronomical, and the media was watching. I was watching. This was prime time. He strutted into the courtroom each day, exuding an aura of supreme confidence, treating the opposing counsel with smug disdain, and even subtly challenging the judge's authority. His strategy was aggressive, as always. He belittled witnesses, twisted facts, and filed motion after motion designed to wear down and bankrupt the opposition. He wasn't just trying to win the case, he was trying to humiliate his opponent, a seasoned but more reserved lawyer named Sarah. Alex saw Sarah's calm, methodical approach as a weakness and openly mocked her in court. He thought he was playing chess while she was playing checkers. The turning point came during the cross-examination of a key witness, a former employee of the opposing company. Alex had information, a piece of scandalous personal gossip about the witness, completely unrelated to the case. His team begged him not to use it. It was unethical, irrelevant, and downright cruel. It was a cheap shot, and there was no legal justification for it. But Alex, blinded by his desire to land a killer blow, couldn't resist. In front of a packed courtroom, he unleashed the personal attack. He painted the witness as an unreliable, immoral person. The witness was blindsided, breaking down on the stand. The courtroom fell into a stunned silence. Sarah, the opposing counsel, didn't object immediately. She let the silence hang in the air, letting the weight of Alex's cruelty sink in. The jury looked visibly uncomfortable, shifting in their seats, their gazes moving from the weeping witness to Alex, who stood there with a triumphant smirk. That smirk was his final mistake. When Sarah finally rose to object, her voice was quiet but firm. She didn't just object to the question. She moved for a mistrial and sanctions against Alex for profound professional misconduct. She methodically laid out a pattern of bad faith litigation, of bullying tactics, and ethical violations that Alex had engaged in throughout the entire trial. She had been documenting everything, waiting for him to go too far. And he had just walked right into her trap. The judge, who had been growing increasingly frustrated with Alex's antics, had seen enough. The smirk on Alex's face faded as the judge began to speak. The judge's words were like hammer blows. He lambasted Alex for his appalling and reprehensible behavior, for making a mockery of the judicial process, and for his stunning lack of character and professionalism. The judge not only declared a mistrial, but also immediately referred Alex to the state bar for disciplinary action, citing a mountain of evidence of misconduct. The fallout was immediate and catastrophic. News of the courtroom implosion went viral. Alex's name was plastered all over legal blogs and news sites, not as a winner, but as a disgrace. The video of the judge's takedown was played on a loop. His high-profile clients, terrified of being associated with him, dropped him in a flood of emails and phone calls. His law firm, facing its own reputational crisis, forced him to resign that very evening. He went from being a multimillionaire legal superstar to a pariah in less than 24 hours. The mansion, the cars, the lavish lifestyle, it all began to evaporate as his income vanished and his legal bills for his own defense started to mount. The state bar suspended his license to practice law, pending a full investigation that would almost certainly lead to disbarment. But the financial ruin was only part of the story. The social and professional isolation was absolute. Colleagues who once clamored for his attention now crossed the street to avoid him. The invitations to galas and exclusive parties stopped. He was a ghost in the world he once dominated. His ego, the engine of his success, had become the architect of his destruction. He had won countless battles, but had just lost the only war that mattered, the one against his own hubris. This story serves as a powerful reminder that talent and intelligence are not enough. Character, ethics, and humility are the true foundations of lasting success. Alex's story shows us that no matter how high you fly, you are never too big to fall, especially when you forget that justice is meant to be a service, not a blood sport. The courtroom is a sacred space, and those who disrespect it will eventually face a verdict they can't appeal. What do you think? Was this a just outcome, or was the punishment too severe? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. This story is a fascinating look into the psychology of power and ego, and it's a lesson we can all learn from. If you found this story as compelling as I did, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into incredible true stories. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.